Hello. In this video we are going to look at factoring factoring perfect square trinomials. Part of these problems can be done using our Xbox or a factor by grouping method if we would like. So we're going to start there. Notice that I do not have a greatest common factor, which is the most important way to be able to factor. If we look at this, there's no greatest common factor, and the leading coefficient is greater than 1. So I'm going to have to do this using grouping or Xbox. I'm going to choose grouping in this particular method. So to do that, I am first going to multiply 81 by 64, or 81x squared by 64, which gives me the nice easy number of 5,184. And then I know I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 5,184x squared, let's stick that x squared in there, that need to add to 144. Okay, if we look at this, I don't know my factors of 5,184 very well. So it may take me some time to go through and find two that actually add to 144x. Okay, well, I'm going to speed this process up just a little bit. I know that 2 goes into there 2,592 times, and I could keep going. There's lots of factors, but I know that 72 goes into 5,184 72 times. Otherwise, this video could be a pretty long video. So using my grouping method, I would put my 72x in place of the middle term 144x. So my problem is going to look like 81x squared plus 72x plus 72x plus 64. Notice that in place of the 144, I have the two things that add to be 144. So now I'm going to do my grouping. So I'm going to start with my first two terms, and my greatest common factor there is a 9x, and I'm left with a 9x plus 8. And then in my second group, I notice that my greatest common factor is a positive 8, and I'm left with 9x plus 8. Okay, and remember, in grouping, these two parentheses that we got should be the exact same. So I can pull that out, 9x plus 8. And then what I'm left with are the two terms that were in front of those parentheses, which happens to also be a 9x plus 8. You'll notice that we have 9x plus 8 times 9x plus 8, which can often be written, or you will often see written, as 9x plus 8 quantity squared. All right. So do I have to go through that craziness every time? What if the factors are huge, like 5,184? Well, ideally, you will notice that 81x squared and 64 are both perfect squares. The square root of 81x squared is 9x. The square root of 64 is 8. And their middle term happens to be positive, so these two need to be positive. So we have 9x plus 8 squared. That would be the shortcut method to be able to do a perfect square trinomial. You would need to recognize that the a term and the c term are both perfect squares. And we can always check our work with this. Let's stick with blue. We can always check our work with this by rewriting 9x plus 8 squared, which means 9x plus 8 times 9x plus 8. And 9x times 9x is 81x squared. 9x times 8 is 72x. 8 times 9x is 72x. And 8 times 8 is 64. When I combine like terms, we're right back where we started. 81x squared plus 144x plus 64. There we go. There is the perfect square trinomials.